Hey, everybody. This is Chris and my co-host,
Bauer Victor.
and welcome to the Brick Wall Podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Today we have our first guest ever. But before we even get into our guest, I talked to our producers, and I just want to share some of the engagement numbers that we've gotten on our podcast. We've had listeners. We've gotten our first engagement. Somebody actually commented on it. So I have to say that it's blowing up.
Huge milestone. Huge.
It's really our first comment. Whoever commented, thank you. And then I think at the end of this podcast, we do encourage people to smash that like, subscribe button.
Yeah, crush the button.
Yes, crush it. So today I'm really excited. Mark, welcome.
Thank you.
I want to tell a quick story about how Mark and I met. I'm going to turn like a 20-minute into like the 30-second overview. Here's basically it. Mark was a rep at iHeartMedia. Didn't want to meet him. Didn't want to like him. Unfortunately, I met him and I loved him. And that was about 3 years ago, this coming September, October-ish.
Yeah.
And we've not stopped working together ever since.
Yeah.
Much to my chagrin, he won't go away. He's like the cold that I have right now. He's tough to get rid of.
I
But
like to think of it as the gift that keeps on giving.
it is. But I love you. I'm so glad that we're in each other's lives professionally,
Likewise.
and that our kids have gone to Virginia Tech. Now that we're going to tailgate this year.
Amazing.
We'll enter Sandman together.
Yep.
So stoked. But you know what? Even before, one more little tidbit. Bauer just accomplished an incredible athletic feat this past weekend. Bauer, share what happened.
I completed my first Ironman 70.3 on Sunday.
That is smooth, man.
Yeah, the glutes are still a little sore, but it was good. I crushed my expectations, felt strong, and my mother-in-law to be was so nervous about it. She thought I was going to drown before the wedding. So we made it out alive, and I did great. It was fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And you have a full Ironman coming up.
Yeah, November 7th, I'll be a Florida man, they call it. So an Ironman Florida. November 7th.
Well, I'll be making sure to get Keyman insurance on you before that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
if you go down, we all win.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a win-win, right?
It is. It's a win-win.
Completed, or you guys
Yeah. I will give
make
him
out big.
an incredible eulogy.
All right.
All
There
right.
you go.
Good. Hey, so I guess we actually have to talk about media stuff today. And that's why Mark's here. So Mark, you said it was a big day today in agentic search. Tell us.
So media is interesting, right? The world's changing a lot. So Chris and I met, we were talking a lot about media. Chris had a thesis around how he could help other agencies, and I was really into it. But over this first meeting, and I think the reason it continued is I have a principle that I live by, and that is work with people you like, doing something you enjoy, and make good money at it, right? We could do that. Not necessarily the career path I came up with, but a place I landed in my life. And Chris is like, listen, I just want to help other agencies that may not have the resources, may not have the expertise, may not have the capabilities. I want to help them do good stuff. So that was media. Fast forward to where we are today. I work with a company called NexNet. NexNet is an organic search company. 20 years it's been SEO, but the last year and a half really focusing on agentic search. It's meaningful to media because it's changing consumer behavior across the world. Everything that we do is now enhanced by our ability to ask ChatGPT or Google or OpenAI and actually have an agent work on our behalf. It's changing how we ask a question. It's changing how we get our information. It's changing how much information we get. So today's a big day because we just had a press release at NexNet about a proof of concept that we're doing with NVIDIA, with Sundial Media, which owns Essence Publication, Refinery 29, about establishing a protocol, a ledger for AI companies, ChatGPT, Anthropic, to actually interact with publishers without stealing their content, right? This is meaningful. In this ecosystem are businesses that want to also be found and surfaced by LLMs. It's a long way of saying AI finds things differently than search did. Right? First, Google had a monopoly on search. It doesn't on AI search, right? So when you ask a question of search, the agent is actually qualifying you for what you want. It's thinking ahead. Think of it as a really good personal assistant for a really bad boss, right? I want to get it right first time. So I'm going to go out and find a bunch of things. Well, the things that I find really depend on what you're looking for or what you're looking for. So if I'm a business and I want to be found, but it doesn't know how to find me, that's dangerous for a business because there's no second page or third page. It goes away. The reason it's a big day today is the announcement that we made, it's proof of concept, is about giving publishers a ledger ability to work with AI, with LLMs, so that LLM just doesn't come and crawl your site for everything and then not pay you and go away. It actually says, hey, I've got this really good curated content that's important and it's meaningful. Let's say it's recipe content or how-to content that the LLM just previously came in, grabbed it, and then represented it as if it were their own. Now there's a way to say, wait a second, I'm the curator. If I want good information out, I need to put good information in, but let's make sure that publisher gets compensated. Let's make sure the LLM has got a receipt and a record of it. This is meaningful because we want AI content to get better. Right now it's 50% good, right? But we as consumers are like, that's good enough because it's amazing what it can do. It's not good enough if we start talking about, I've got a health condition, if we're talking about financial decisions, if we're talking about things that really matter. It's where we're going. So that's big. It's big news. It's big news for businesses who are like, I don't know what to do in this space. Businesses that you're working with.
Really interesting. How does that look in reality? Like, how do you imagine the next 6 months look for businesses?
So that a business won't have to interact with that model. This is now a layer that doesn't really exist between publishers, and a publisher is anybody who puts content on the web for a search engine or LLM to consume, or we as humans. Let me stop because I spent a lot of time here. What's changing in the market right now is that websites have been built for human consumption. They've been optimized. They've been optimized to look cool. They've been optimized for browsing behavior, for optimization. But we're in this change right now, the revolving door of that website doesn't have to be built for human consumption because humans are going to websites less and less. All of us go to websites less because that AI overview just did it for me. It went and it clicked around and it found the things that I would have otherwise done as the curator of that content, that search content. I don't have to do that. I've got an assistant that's doing that for me. That's the change. So for a business, how you build your website is changing.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
It no longer is, or it's in the process of transitioning from human consumption to robot consumption.
So this has implications for agencies. This has implications for brands. Let's start with agencies.
Yep.
How can agencies quickly get up to speed in a way that it just doesn't seem overwhelming? Like we've built our business on partnerships. What is the easiest way for an agency that's already struggling with time constraints, performance constraints, budget constraints? What's the easiest way for an agency to understand this and then make it real for a client?
Before we dive into that question, which we'll get to, let's talk about the agency ecosystem, particularly the independent agency ecosystem, but it's also happening at the big holdco agencies.
Sure.
The marketplace is freaking out, both on the agency side and on the client side. Clients are like, wait a second, I'm spending the same amount of money or more money. I'm getting fewer returns. My traffic to my site is down. I'm getting fewer responses. What do I do about this? And it's putting agencies in a position to have to scramble. You and I talk about this all the time. How do we help independent agencies, really good people, to do better work? They've got some core expertise, but the world changes, moving fast. Organizing information, right? There's a lot out there about how do I show up, particularly for agentic search, but how do I do better business when my other tactics aren't working as well? So first, find some trusted sources, some real trusted sources. It's a moving target. It's a moving landscape. If I were a regional business, a small business, or an agency supporting them, I'd be freaked out. So let's look at those who are doing it well and pay attention to them, right? It's why I think doing this podcast is so important, because at least you're letting the world know who you are. We're really good people. What you do, we're media experts, and we want to work. We're built to agency to help agencies. It's perfect. So first thing you do, find voices in the market that you trust for the things that you want to do and start paying attention. It's work. It's more work than it was a year ago, right? Because the market's changing so fast. So when you find those voices and you start paying attention, then start to align on some best practices that you can repeat. And that's key, because then you're not reinventing the process every time. So in our case, we work very closely. Thank goodness, NVIDIA has been a phenomenal partner with us. And NVIDIA is paying attention to the technology landscape. Google is still the largest voice in search on the market. So we pay attention to what Google's saying about what's going on. But then we also pay attention to trends around Google. And you can find those trends on SEMrush or on Ahrefs. We built a proprietary platform that allows us to see what's happening across all the agentic platforms and start to see trends. So find the voice, find the theme, and then pay attention to it. And then keep your eyes open, talk to other smart people and hear what they're doing.
Brands now, what would be a first step, a second step for brands? Is it redoing their website? Is it repositioning their website? How much is on site? How much is off site that they need to consider?
Chris, this is a great question. The first thing that I would ask is, what are you trying to optimize for? Do you need them at your website at all? Because in the next 3 months, Google's going to handle that for you. And you're going to be able to book a flight. You're going to be able to schedule a service. You're going to be able to purchase that thing without ever going to a website. The agents, then this is, if anybody's paying attention to Google, they had the big I/O 2026 announcement in end of May, beginning of June. And the announcement says essentially, we're deploying agents, multiple agents for consumers this summer to be able to handle the entire transaction. These are agents that'll be able to work in the background. So for a business, the first question they really need to ask is, what do they want? I want more leads. I want more deals. So stop thinking about this in web kind of 20 teens, web early 2020s, where I need to drive traffic, where I need to optimize my funnel in a way that gets people from awareness to consideration to conversion, because the agent just collapsed that whole thing. So get better at doing what you do and then optimize for that thing and then work up funnel. Great. I need to optimize for agentic search. I still need a media plan for awareness. I need people to know who I am and what I do. But when they get here, it's not about getting into a website or to search results, because the agent's doing all of that for you. Makes sense? Did I answer that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's take a step back, because I'm sure there's some listeners that don't know much about AEO as a landscape. Can you explain in like an elevator speech what AEO is? And then I have a follow-up question to follow that.
And really quick,
Yeah.
Bauer's right. We have at least 20 listeners.
Lots of listeners.
Buckle my seatbelt for the listeners.
All right.
We're going to get flooded with the feedback.
And a comment.
That we do.
All right. We have 20 listeners and a comment.
Amazing.
For those 20 listeners and that commenter.
All right. The easy answer is AEO, Agentic Engine Optimization, is making sure that you can be found by an agent versus search engine optimization, which is the closest proxy of what it was. And that's, how does my web page get cited by Google search so that the consumer can do something? So that's an entire experience. So when we talk about AEO, we're talking about ChatGPT, we're talking about Anthropic, Perplexity, talking about Google, because Google, most of Google's experience now is agentic first. So you see the Google AI mode, and we're talking Google Gemini, but we're talking Google search, which is going more and more to the agentic experience. Some of our users, all 20 of you listeners, may have interacted with an AI agent verbally. This is happening. And I'm not talking about Alexa, although we've all been conditioned to ask questions, but I now, when I want something, I don't want to do this. I want to go, hey Siri, I need to replace my water heater. Where do I start? And then Siri starts a thread. So AEO is also about optimizing your business if I replace water heaters for a long tail conversation, because that agent now remembers that I just started that conversation and I can come back to that conversation. There's a history, there's an archive, there are multiple threads.
I feel like this is an incredible opportunity for agencies and brands that are challenger brands to leap the competition if they embrace this first and fast. Thoughts?
Particularly for independent agencies, particularly for smaller independent agencies. I don't know what percentage of your user base, your followers,
Follower.
All
right,
are familiar with the agency ecosystem, but there are a lot of interesting trends happening in the large agency ecosystem that are forcing pressure on those big holdco agencies that are creating opportunities for independent agencies. These big brands that normally would work with the WPP, a Havas, they're realizing, wait, I can take some of this in-house and not have to pay that massive overhead fee. And they're also realizing, when I take it in-house, I still need specific expertise. So I'm in conversations every day, every week, with people who want to figure out how to do more for themselves because they're now empowered with expertise, right? We've got the entire world's knowledge at our fingertips. The question is how do I do something with that? So for independent agencies who can't, I'll talk about Sam Littlefield, who's an interesting example of picking a thing getting really good at a thing and letting the world know he's really good at a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is an opportunity for independent agencies to choose a thing that they want to be good at and then lean into being good at that thing, because you don't get that when you go to a big holdco agency. And as a brand, their job is to run the brand. It's to run the business. The reason agency exists is to bring outside expertise and outside perspective into a brand, right? So as an agency, and you guys have chosen media as a pillar to go and help other agencies, this is perfect. So now the agencies that are in your network that you're working with, some of which I'm talking to also, are like, great, Chris brought you to the table, Mark. How can you help me pitch my client? So now you have created the hub of an ecosystem around expertise. That's where there's opportunity for agencies. Create that expertise, create your foundation, build a hub, and let the world know. And what we're seeing is savvy, smart agencies that want to do good work are starting to align themselves with other savvy, smart agencies that want to do good work.
Bauer, I have a feeling that Mark's going to be a recurring guest.
Glad he will. Glad he will.
Any final questions for him?
Is SEO dead?
SEO is different. It's a good question, man. Search on Google is SEO dead and watch the deluge of stuff that comes back. SEO is about, how do I get my business found? How that happens has changed, but the practice of how do I get my business found has not changed. It's more important than ever, right? If you'll notice, do this example for all of our listeners. Go to Google and type in a thing. Try to find a business, try to solve a problem. Traditional Google search. Then do that same search in an AI search and feel the difference in that experience, right? Because there's an engine behind both of those things. The difference in the experience is, one, we put the work on a human. And what we're seeing over the past 12 months is that fewer and fewer humans are relying on that previous experience. There's a percentage of the population that holds on to comfortable things. The bell curve, the curve in adoption for AI is faster than most technologies that we've seen, because consumers are like, wait, that was easier. Technology drives consumer adoption. Consumer adoption drives marketing behavior, right? We're seeing consumer adoption here faster than anything I've ever seen. So no, it's not dead. It's just different.
Great answer. The last thing I have, and it's less AEO focused and more AI landscape, is how do you mitigate all of the bad data out there that is being scraped by AI that makes what people are calling AI slop?
Yeah, it's real. Bucket loads and bucket loads of AI stuff. So we were at CES earlier this year when we launched the first NexNet AI platform. And there was a lot of conversation about, how do you help businesses show up in AI search? While we were there, there was I don't remember if it was American Express, but there was a really interesting article going around about a woman who had called into the American Express customer, or was searching ChatGPT for the American Express customer service number. First number, ChatGPT cites back a number. Here's the number for customer service. She calls it. It's a phishing scheme. They get her information and they're gone. Wow. It was a phishing scheme because bad actors in Asia had created volumes of content around that specific topic.
Smart.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is why the marketplace is
genius.
Well,
we need to open up a separate division.
AI phishing.
AI phishing.
This is a thing when you've got companies with budgets. Well, you got corrupt people, which had been there in the past. Like, this is why SEO and AEO are there. So companies like Google know how to deal with those things. Yeah. It's just about paying attention and keeping up. Consumers will have to catch up to it, but AI does a really good job now at saying how much of this slop is relevant. The biggest difference between SEO, technically, between SEO and AEO is that agent is really mining for trust and authority, right? It had to be trained on public web information, which was written for human consumption. So it had to grab this information that was websites, and it was articles, and it was blog posts, and it was YouTube videos. By the way, YouTube videos, Reddit posts, these are massive influencers of trust and authority currently in AI search. So if you're paying attention to what else could I be doing, do things like this, because they'll show up, right? And then understand that data, like understand which type of YouTube video for the thing that I'm trying to accomplish. So AI slop is going to exist, be more and more and more specific. So for agencies, for all 20 of you out there, get better at understanding what you want to happen. Be more prescriptive, more specific. We can no longer keyword stuff a page because I'm an HVAC company and I want everybody who's searching anything about HVAC, because then they're going to go to Google search and they're going to be the one who scroll and curate, and hopefully they find my thing. Or they're going to go to my website and I hope they stay on my website long enough to find the thing that's relevant to them. That's gone. Be more specific and more relevant. If there were one action that I would recommend business owners and agencies on behalf of those business owners to do, is to filter everything out and choose the first thing that you want to be found for and optimize for that. And then the next thing and optimize for that. Don't boil the ocean. Don't try to be everything to all people. The nice thing is we're in the transition. So Google search still works and it still drives traffic, but AI search, which generates 3 to 5 responses, it wants the real and trusted answer. Here's a benefit for those that are paying attention. That's why being the first 20 is important. Getting ahead of this now matters because models, frontier models like the LLMs, they start to find trusted places. Here's a parting thought to think about what AI actually is. Imagine you're sitting around a table when we were last in Virginia, right? And we had 8 people around the cornhole table. Every one of those 8 people has their own life experience and perspective. So when you're having a conversation and you're talking about where should my daughter go to school versus where do I get a mortgage versus where do we go for dinner, we're going to talk to different people in that group. AI does the same thing. AI starts to realize, oh, that was a trustworthy source. I'm going to go back to that source. So getting ahead of it now in a local market around a specific topic, AI learns and AI remembers. So it's going to be a harder game to catch up to, right? Back the last time we did this, which was when Google started 25 years ago, you could have been a lagging follower. You could have taken 8 or 10 or 12 years to get onto Google because things like Yellow Pages still worked. Media still worked. Local TV still worked. Radio still worked. Direct mail was still a thing, right? Newspaper was still a thing. So you had a long time to break through while people figured out search. I had to get a computer. That's gone. So getting ahead of it now and planting a flag around what you want to have authority with matters in the next 6 to 9 months.
I feel like we could talk for probably another 45 minutes and we'll definitely going to have you back, Mark. For the people listening and our future subscribers and listeners, just want everybody to know I trust Mark. We do business together. I expose him to my clients. I see us working together for the rest of our careers. How do people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Mark Mansfield. The company's NexNet. That's an easy find. Or you can find me through Chris.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you again when? I don't know.
Probably next week.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Tell your friends. Next time there'll be 20 and 2 comments.
By the way, if we get a second comment, that's 100% growth.
Progress.
100%
That's
growth.
data.
Yeah.
Data.
That's huge.
All right,
Thanks, you
Mark.
guys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
y'all.
Yeah. See you guys.